Welcome to the Arknigths Endfield Combat Guide. In today's video, we'll go over the basics and everything else important to know to learn the combat and perform well in endgame content. While the combat on the surface might seem easy enough, and it is, looking more closely will actually reveal many systems interacting with each other. So let's begin. First of all, the basics. Arknight's Endfield combat utilizes 4-man team. Each character on the field is able to auto-attack, do one skill, and cast their ultimate. They also have a combo ability that triggers on specific situations, depending on their kit. There are a total of 6 classes in the game at this moment. Let's divide them into 2 groups: damaging classes and support classes. Damaging classes are Guard, Caster, and Striker. These classes are specialized in dealing damage in different forms. Support classes are Vanguard, Defender, and Support. These classes are specialized in helping the team in different ways. While in combat, you will control only one character of your choice, while the other 3 allies will be on field with you and auto-attack. It's up to you at this point to give them orders and make them use their skills or ultimate on command by using skill points or SP. As the controlled operator, you can cast your skill, ultimate, combo skill, do your basic attack string, finish enemies, jump, and dodge. During the fight, if the conditions are met, you'll also be able to cast yours and your allies' combo skills by pressing the button that appears on screen. At the end of your basic attack string, you'll also perform a final strike, a more powerful attack that can enable other allies' combo, apply more stagger buildup, or do a finisher on staggered monsters. It also gives you back a good chunk of SP. Dodging during the combo won't interrupt it, so don't worry about it. A finisher is an execute powerful attack that you can only perform when an enemy stagger bar is full. When the stagger bar is full, then the enemy will be stunned for its duration, and it's indicated by the change of bar color from white to yellow, slowly decreasing. For big monsters or bosses, the bar will be larger and will have multiple stagger nodes. You won't be able to execute when hitting those, but they can trigger certain operators' combos. As mentioned before, you have 3 skill point bars. These are used to cast abilities and can be replenished from performing final strikes or with the help of specialized operators. They gradually restore on their own as well. Triggering a perfect dodge also restores SP, which is when you see your character flashing blue while dodging. That's the perfect dodge. Let's talk about damage types and their combinations now. This topic can be complicated, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. There are 3 types of damage: physical, arts, and ether damage. The last one isn't in the game yet, so we'll talk about the first 2. Let's begin with the art types. There are 4 elements in Endfield: heat, electric, cryo, and nature. Hitting an enemy with an element will apply 1 stack of that element. If you apply 2 or more stacks, a corresponding burst will apply. 1 stack alone doesn't do damage, but can be used as a trigger for combos. An enemy can have up to 4 stacks of one element. Another important mechanic to mention is merging elements. Each element, when applied on an enemy that has a different art infliction currently ongoing, will consume all present stacks of the previous element and trigger a reaction. Its power will also scale with the amount of stacks consumed. For example, if you apply heat on top of any other element, it will trigger combustion, a damaging over time debuff dealing heat damage every second that scales with the attack of the unit that applied it. This works between all elements. Let's continue. Applying cryo on top of any other element will trigger solidification, a freeze status that will render small monsters unable to move. Applying vulnerable or another physical status will also trigger shatter, consuming the solidification status, dealing massive physical damage. Applying electric on top of any other element will trigger electrification, a debuff that makes the enemy take more arts damage for its duration. Applying nature on top of any other element will trigger corrosion, a debuff that makes the enemy gradually lose all elemental resistances. Consuming more stacks when triggering corrosion speeds up the elemental shred and reduces resistances to an even lower minimum. Long story short, depending on the element order you apply, you'll get a different outcome. Thanks to this, many team synergies can come to life. Let's talk about physical damage now. It's a little bit different. Physical has 4 statuses it can apply, and they all vary in what they do and how they work. Hitting an enemy with a physical ability will apply vulnerable stacks. Similar to the elemental arts, attacking an already vulnerable enemy will apply one of the 4 types of statuses depending on the operator's kit: Lift, Knockdown, Crush, and Breach. The first 2 statuses, Lift and Knockdown, apply effect and generate more vulnerable stacks. Let's assume we are attacking an enemy with 1 stack of vulnerable already. When hitting enemy with Lift, it will add 1 more vulnerable stack, deal physical damage, and apply some stagger and lift weaker enemies into midair. When hitting enemies with Knockdown, it will add 1 more stack of vulnerable, deal physical damage, apply stagger, and knock down weaker enemies. The other 2 statuses are Crush and Breach. These 2 consume the vulnerable stacks to apply an effect. Consuming more stacks provides a stronger potency. Crush will consume all vulnerable stacks and deal physical damage according to the amount consumed. Breach will consume vulnerable stacks to deal physical damage and make the enemy take more physical damage for a duration. Now that we know how the elements work, let's know more about the enemies. Enemies are usually divided into weaker enemies, elite, and bosses. Sometimes an enemy might charge a powerful ability. This is indicated by a big red circle slowly shrinking. To stop them, make sure you have an ability ready to go, a skill or an ultimate. This will interrupt the enemy charge and apply some stagger. The circle can also be white. In this case, wait for it to become red, then interrupt. There are also several buffs and statuses you and your ally can apply, such as Weaken, Protect, Slow, Dispel, but the most notable worth mentioning are Link and Susceptible. Link is a special buff that some operators can provide. This will enhance the power of the next ability or ultimate cast by anyone in the team. The effect can stack up to 4, but it obviously has diminishing returns. Susceptible is a debuff status that some operators can apply, like Lifeng. Enemies with this status will then suffer more damage from that specific element. This status can also be stacked. That's it for today's combat guide. Hopefully it was helpful enough. In case you have some question, feel free to post a comment below or come ask me live on twitch.tv/JKZN. Thank you for watching and see you next time.